All right, let's talk about game four. So, Tyrese Haliburton, congratulations. You had the best game of your career. You are no longer the most overrated player in basketball. Maybe to the Bucks. You're the most overrated player. But, yeah, what a masterclass from Tyrese Haliburton tonight, man. 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, triple-double, man. Like, come on. I think we got to start putting Tyrese Haliburton in the top 10 players in the NBA conversation, given the run he's been on so far, man. I mean, him and Siakam were fantastic tonight. Neesmith was fantastic. Turner did good. Nemhard had an awful night, but it didn't matter because the Knicks had a worse night. Um, Toppin with the game dagger and free. Honestly, that just looked like the clinch in Series 3, to be honest with you. I expect the Pacers to win in Game 5 or Game 6. Bradley did decent. McConnell did decent. Maffern with 20 points, getting to the rim, being aggressive. Although some of his points are questionable, which I'll get to in a minute. And Ben Shepherd was all right. Now, I want to talk about the Pacers for quick before I talk about the Knicks and how there was a certain point in the game where I knew it just wasn't going to be their game. So, Pacers, you're one win away from the NBA Finals, so congratulations. You're probably going to close it out unless you guys have an epic choke of proportions. Um, yeah, just outstanding game from the entire team. Yeah, and this game came down to the Pacers being able to put on runs that the Knicks could not, and the Knicks really putting themselves in a hole, especially with the first and third quarter not being able to keep up, ultimately cost them this game, right? Um, they had to come back from a lot. Just I don't know how big the lead was in the second quarter, right? They had to come back from fucking what? Was it originally 8? It was originally 10, and then they were able to cut it down. They had to come from 10 points before the Pacers had a response, right? And it just always felt like in this game that the Knicks had to play from behind, right? They had to play from behind pretty much the entire game, and it ultimately costed them, right? So that's really that, to be honest. Um, I'm gonna just I'm just gonna go on a tangent real quick about the Knicks. But also, I realized the Knicks were probably not gonna come back and win this game and make it interesting like the majority of this series has been, just because of the fact that there was a point in the game where they had 4 fouls, right? Three of the fouls were complete bullshit. The other one was on Towns. That was a complete fair foul. He was grabbing, I forget who it was. I think it was Siakam, right? That's when I knew that this just game was not going to go their way. And Maffern ended up getting a fluky foul, a couple of free throws, in my opinion. And ultimately, I think it did set the tone for the fourth quarter of how it was going to go. I'm not going to accuse the refs of anything, but that was really sus that 4 foul calls were called like that quickly, and 3 of them were complete bullshit. So, yeah, I'm not a Knicks fan, by the way. I am a Warriors fan and somewhat of a Celtics fan. But yeah, that at that point it was just like, yeah, this team is just not coming back from it. So, um, uh, Carl Anthony Towns, I mean that guy's a tough ass motherfucker, right? Even though he's injured, right? He's clearly been injured all series long. If you've been watching any second of the series, you know he's been injured, right? He's been playing on something dealing with his leg, and I'm assuming he's gonna have to get surgery after the Knicks lose the series, or if they make it to the finals and they lose that or win that or whatever, right? Once this postseason is done, Cat's gonna have to get surgery, right? Hopefully, once he does get that surgery, he recovers. But yeah, that's the first thing. OG, he had 22 points. But you can't expect to win if you're shooting 1 from 7 from three, especially against this Indiana team, who's sure 3 pointers didn't go as well. But considering how this game went, OG just didn't shoot the ball well enough from three. And I'm not talking from the line because he got to his spots, but I'm talking specifically from the line. So I mean he got to the free throw line, but he just simply wasn't able to what do you call it? Get to the get the 3 pointers in. I don't think it makes a huge difference in this game, to be honest. Considering I don't think the Knicks deserved to win. They just were behind right from the start, and they weren't able to catch up. Um, but yeah, Um, Even though Mitchell Robinson got 5 offensive rebounds in this game, I don't feel like he was effective at all. There's a reason why Josh Hart played 36 minutes tonight. He was just there fighting for every ball. I think he played really well, honestly, despite what the box score says. I think he was probably the only Nick who had a really good game. Maybe you can say Brunson had a good game, and Towns had a good game, and then everyone else just had mid games. But when you're facing this Pacers team, you can't have mid games, right? It doesn't matter if Nimhard's 1 for 9, right? You have to capitalize on your opportunities and simply put the Knicks just in. And now going into game 5, right? If they do end up losing game 5, right? Or game 6, right? What happens in the offseason, right? I don't think they have any picks they can trade. And they're going to have to go through a lot of soul searching this offseason. Because you think you're on top of the world after being the Boston team that's been a pain in your ass for God knows how long. And then you just get smoked by the Pacers. Well, I think we'll take this in 5. If not, they'll take it in 6, right? But man, this has just got to be soul crushing for the Knicks this game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers ended in 5, because it just looks like Towns is just so down, man. And it's not because he didn't play well; it's because he's just so fucking injured. It just felt like this game just felt like the end of a series, right? It just felt like the end of a series. Like I don't see New York winning this in 7. I just don't. If they somehow do it, fair play to them. But yeah, the Knicks are gonna. If the Knicks don't play their ass off for the next 3 games, they get to start their Cancun early, and we'll see what happens with them. Now, for Game 5, for the next 2, right? OKC should close that out easily, right? If they don't, that's a shame. I can see this still going to 6 if the Knicks are rejuvenated behind their crowd and then head back to Indiana, but I just don't see it, man. With hurt as Towns has been and how outplayed they've been by the Pacers at every turn, honestly, I'm surprised this series hasn't been a sweep, considering Game 3, but also you can count Game 1 into the fact, right? And you also have to think with how this series has gone, right? This series could be 2-2 Knicks Pacers, right? But because of what happened in Game 1 with Aaron Nesmith, who's been great this series, right? You've got to wonder, is this blown opportunities over and over and over again? And I think you're going to have that conversation in the offseason, right? Like the Towns trade was a great trade, right? And I think it was the correct move to go Bridges, right? And get Anunoby and get all these guys, right? But if I'm the Knicks and I'm looking at this roster, right? I think this team is good, right? The top 7 is good, right? How can they improve their bench, right? Because I get that Precious Achiuwa is a good basketball player, right? He's way better than me. I'm talking DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet are all good players, right? But how the fuck do you expect to win a championship when those are your bottom 3 bench guys that are coming off the bench? And then you're benching Cameron Payne, so that's a whole nother thing. But DeLon Wright gave him good minutes tonight. Like, I'll give him that. And Landry Shamet gave him good minutes, right? But it just feels like this team needs more. And the Pacers are just more built for the postseason. It's just as simple as that. And now, with this Pacers team, right, you have to start having the conversation of how far they can take the Thunder, right? Because this is going to be the finals matchup, right? And I don't know. I don't know how far they can take it. I think it depends a lot on how this series, on how they handle the matchups and how they handle adjustments, right? And how Haliburton handles all the pressure from OKC's defense, right? Because this is going to be the finals matchup we're going to deal with, unless either team blows it or both teams blow it, right? But yeah, man, it's kind of ironic how the biggest yeah, actually, yeah, it was the biggest offseason trade. The biggest offseason trade being the Towns and Randall trade. If both teams are going out in the conference finals. That's actually kind of funny now thinking about it. You just make the same trade. You just trade swap, let's do a player swap, and just end up in the same position. So, Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Shout out to Tony Bradley for being really effective in this series. I did not expect him to be a player at all, and he's played really well when having to guard all the Knicks big men, including Robinson and Towns. So shout out to him. But yeah. See you in both game fives.